Simon, for the introduction, and can I also say thank you very much for the civic efforts in chairing all 9 of the meetings. Could I add my thanks to the ODI and the Business Action for Africa, who have worked with DFID to run what we consider to be a highly successful series of meetings. The discussions, I know, have helped to generate new ideas and new ways of working, which I think will help us to overcome the many and challenging development tasks ahead. When I launched these meetings back in January, I'd say the economic crisis was really just unfolding at that point. We didn't know what the full impact would be. Since then, we've learned an awful lot more. We've learned about how the global downturn has affected people right across the world. In many countries, now we're starting to see signs of recovery, and that's great and welcome. But world trade is still likely to shrink by up to 15% this year. Globally, foreign direct investment inflows are forecast to be down 30% on 2008 levels. Millions of people in the developing world are just starting to feel the pinch and the impact of the crisis now. The UN estimates that the financial crisis has already pushed 100 million more people into poverty, with 60 million more people becoming unemployed over the last 2 years. However, that said, despite the downturn, our fundamental message remains the same, and that is to help protect people around the world from the worst impacts of the economic crisis. We need to continue supporting responsible private sector investment as the driver of economic growth and as a lifeline out of poverty for developing countries. It means improving access to markets, strengthening fair competition, and building stronger partnerships between government and the private sector so that we can all contribute to the goal of reducing poverty. Businesses and business people can make a contribution to development, and that is separate from any sense of philanthropy or just corporate social responsibility. Because not only do businesses have the technology, the skills and the expertise to generate wealth and jobs in the developing world, they also know that it is in their best interest to seek out new markets that are in the developing and emerging countries. And that way they can develop and build an inclusive and sustainable global economy that's fitting for the 21st century. A key message that we set out in our recent white paper is that we must recognise the critical role that business and trade has played and will continue to play in driving forward globalisation and lifting people out of poverty. In fact, business is critical to implementing the white paper. Our core goals of economic growth and peaceful societies cannot be achieved without the input from business, with their insights, partnerships, and their capacity to change lives for the better. In particular, one of the white paper's most important messages is the need to work with the private sector in addressing the challenges of climate change and supporting sustainable, low-carbon economic growth. We're less than 2 months away from the Copenhagen Climate Change Conference, where we will all be pushing for an agreement that global emissions should peak and then start to decline before 2020, and that they should be cut by at least 50% below their 1990 levels by the year 2050. And business will be fundamental in achieving these cuts. In developing countries, the private sector typically contributes over 70% of total investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency. But levels of investment will need to grow rapidly to achieve the estimated $200 billion, which will be required annually by 2030 for climate change mitigation. Lord Stern published a report last month, based on a consultation with the private sector, that calls for 3 key changes in order to increase new investment in low-carbon technologies. Firstly, we need to put a price on carbon through carbon markets, which have the private sector at their core. Secondly, we need to create the regulatory certainty that businesses need to make their investment decisions. And recent G20 summit in Pittsburgh, global leaders committed to implement domestic policies that will stimulate investment in clean energy and to provide financial and technical support for clean energy projects right across the developing world. And thirdly, we need to use public financing mechanisms to leverage new investment. The Low Carbon Prosperity Task Force recently produced recommendations on how private finance can best be mobilised, and DFID will work with the task force to help implement them. And as well as working with businesses to support investment in low carbon technologies, we're also helping them to accurately report and then reduce their own carbon footprints through the Carbon Disclosure Project and the Forest Footprint Disclosure Project. Businesses must be both at the heart of our approach to climate change, but also at the heart of our approach to development. Entrepreneurs and business people are the source of the ideas, the resources, the networks that we need to help tackle poverty. It is business success that creates employment and tax revenues and can help pave the way for sustainable low-carbon growth. Businesses are now routinely represented at major development events, such as the Business Call to Action in September last year. There are now more than 70 companies signed up to the Business Call to Action. That's 10 more than when I spoke to you in January. And each of them has made a commitment to help change lives for the better, and they are already making a real impact on the ground. Over the course of these meetings, we have heard how Vodafone's mobile banking has now got 7 million customers in 90 countries. Coca-Cola has expanded its network of manual distribution centres right across Africa, creating an additional 4,500 jobs. That's 2,000 more than when I spoke to you in January. And I'm looking forward to hearing updates about the work of Diageo and De Beers, and that they are taking forward. Now, the White Paper also makes it very clear that supporting conditions for business and economic growth has got to be the foundation of our approach to development. And that's why we have committed to provide at least £1 billion a year to support growth and trade through initiatives such as the International Growth Centre, which will employ the world's leading experts to help developing countries address the barriers that they face in achieving strong economic growth. And we're doing more to ensure that developing countries can access trade finance too. The World Bank's International Finance Committee has launched the Global Trade Liquidity Programme. It was launched in July. It's targeted specifically at developing countries. And the G20 has already contributed some $2.5 billion, with total commitment standing at $4 billion. That has the potential, that scheme has the potential to provide up to $50 billion of trade finance over 3 years, and around $12 billion for low-income countries. So we need to continue working with other donors and the IFC to ensure that the scheme is fully funded and to monitor its impact on the poorest countries in the world. The G20 summit also called for a new private sector and government partnership to increase access to finance for small and medium-sized businesses. And DFID will work with businesses to identify new markets, employees, and suppliers in developing countries through the Business Innovation Facility. We believe that this facility will provide advice, training, and support to companies entering frontier markets and brokering partnerships between the private sector, governments, and NGOs. And where corruption acts as a barrier to investment, we will work with governments to crack down on that criminality. The World Bank estimates that over $1 trillion each year is paid out in bribes. And in the White Paper, we commit to working with the private sector to develop new approaches on gathering evidence of corruption. And we're supporting international anti-corruption and money laundering commitments through both the UN and the IMF. We also want to help improve the investment climate in developing countries by strengthening regional infrastructure and economic integration through aid for trade. And we're currently investing over £800 million in this particular scheme and are looking to maintain that level in the future. And in particular, we're going to be working with Southern and Eastern Africa to deliver on the promises made at the North-South Corridor Conference in April this year. Over £1.2 billion of funds have been committed to upgrade the transport networks from the Commonwealth Club, the DRC in Zambia, to the ports in Southern Africa and Tanzania. And going forward, DFID is also working with other donors to improve transport corridors in both Eastern and Southern Africa. As I bring my comments to a conclusion, Simon, and as I look to the future, I want to challenge each of you in this room, as leaders of business and public life, to seek out new partnerships for development. Working together to generate economic growth, jobs and income in developing countries is a way in which we could all contribute to the goal of eliminating global poverty in our lifetimes. Whether we are politicians, business people, activists in civil society, trade unionists, we must all come together to help lift millions of people out of poverty and into prosperity. I said in January that it was our shared challenge. I believe passionately it's our shared responsibility. And I hope that it will be in our generation our shared